Yeah, he's gonna switch the balls out, I think, and then give us some clean. Yeah, that's what they use. It might be an airmeth. It might be an airmeth ball. Yeah. You like this one? Yeah, I don't mind. It's yeah. It's like,
The other one is have more control.
yeah. What's the what kind of tables are back home for you?
We have some German dynamic, but not the last. And Albanian tables.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're different.
They're a little different. Yeah,
Pockets are different.
yeah,
It's terrible table.
yeah. Edward, how old are you, Edward? How old are you?
33.
Really? Old man.
I am from Albania.
What?
I am from Albania.
Albania?
Yeah. But I live here. And now I will live here.
And we're back. This is Mark Weaver in the booth up here at CR Sports Bar in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. On your screen, you'll see Mr. Jerry Johnson, and up top part of your screen with the Twins hat on, Mr. Tin Tumjum, and to the right of him, Edward Bregu. We are featuring today a matinee match, race to 11, BCA rules, $500 entry singles tournament. There's only capped at 8 entrants. And we are live here at CR Sports Bar in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Thank you as always for tuning in, and I'll be back here when we break this in just about maybe a half a minute or a minute or so. Be right back.
Race to 11, winner breaks. Flip it up. Okay. I don't have a coin. You can bag if you want, whatever you want to do with that coin. Call. Tails, good luck.
All right, we are live here at CR Sports Bar, Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Mr. Jerry Johnson in the booth with me.
Hey, Mark, how are we doing today?
We're doing pretty good. Matinee match at 1 p.m. Tin Tumjum and Edward Bregu. Is that how you pronounce that?
Bregu, I think. Yeah,
Bregu?
from Albania.
From Albania.
And I think he's here visiting his son.
Okay.
So, but he's been here for, I don't know, a few months, I think.
Looks like Tim came up with a dry break.
I'll tell you what, this Edward can play.
Yeah, yep.
So we'll see what he has today. Everyone's kind of tuning in, want to see how good this guy really is. He won a French Open tournament with all the big shots. With all the top players, I guess, the French Open he won. Big table player, but we'll get a glimpse today and see if he can handle the heat playing Timmy, huh, Mark?
Well, both these two play like champions, so I heard Edward breaking a little bit earlier. I thought he was going to break a couple of the pool balls, man. He was hitting them pretty hard.
Yeah, he does break hard. Open hand bridge, too, a lot when he breaks. You see that?
Yep. Maybe that's how he generates a little bit more on that. But upper part of left part of your screen, you see Tin Tumjum, and at the table is Edward. BCA rules means when you scratch or fall on the break, you can put the cue ball anywhere on the table.
I'm going to tap Tim on the other side because the score's on that side.
Okay.
All right. Otherwise, I got to switch things around.
So when we get up and rolling here, I'll see how Edward's working through this rack. Looks like he's just got 2 balls. I'm looking over at the table actually from the booth right now. We're trying to get the chat window up and running, but looks like we'll have to go back to just the screen so we can call the match. Talon had it set up I think it was it last night for it. But Edward is running out, shooting the 8. As I look over the counter, he's up 1-0, and we'll wait to score it too. Got Mr. Mo in here trying to help us up with the setup. This one here. Just here we are, 1 p.m. matinee match at CR Sports Bar in Minnesota. Mr. Mo Bashir up here helping on the technical aspect of it. Jerry Johnson in the house, Mark Weaver in the booth. Really? And Edward, race to one.
Table 1 at like 12:45 to 1 o'clock, somewhere around there.
How much special? $10.
So Edward's breaking. You're going to hear a solid smash with these balls. Think about it before Jerry here. He's hitting them pretty solid over here practicing.
No, you're on.
It's like Stripes. Is he going to start? He has no choice, really, but boy, that 10 ball is in a bad spot. I would predict he's going to bank that ball more than anything. Gets a 9, 11, 13, 10. That 11 is going to give him some trouble, too. I might actually even try to bank that 11 right now, because I don't think that 11 goes. Unless he can draw into this and bump it or... Oh, he got kind of a weird spot to bank it, but I seems like he was almost trying to play to bank the ball. Or is he going to play it safe and just kind of lay the ball up there? I don't know. With being able to having to reach over that 2 ball sure changes things a little bit. It makes such a difference from being able to hit a full ball on the cue ball, but looks like he sold a look at the 3, sold a look at the 2. Tim Tunjum should be able to get out in this rack. The tricky part will be as you navigate, obviously, in the lower right corner of your screen, the 4 and the 5 ball. That 1's tied on there. It's kind of a weird little combination, that 4 and the 5. If you shoot that 4-5, the likelihood of that 4 not sticking around in that area of the table to help you out on the 1 ball, that's a real big possibility. I might try to find a way to shoot the 3. And get the 6 ball out of the way and go over to the right side of the table and get on that right rail and then shoot that 3 in the upper right corner. Spin with some outside English and come 2 rails into those balls down there. But it looks like he's going to shoot that combo right now. And that 4 will likely come off that rail pretty hot. If that 5 is off the rail a little bit more, it'd be a little bit easier to control and try to hold that 4 ball there. You might have to come back for that 4 and use it later to break out the 1. See how it comes across there? He hit that pretty good. Look at that. Good shot. Still got to deal with the 1, though. I don't think he's going to draw back into this ball. Yeah. Wow, nice breakout. Mr. Tim Tunjum. Got a few spectators here. If you can't really see in the upper right behind the Amadon graphics, but sitting up there behind that logo is Mr. Siko Varani, coming to watch Tim play. So he's got the 1 and the 6 left. He's got to avoid the 10 ball when he shoots this 1 ball. You try to avoid it so you come across better. That 10 will hold you up over there if you happen to bump into it in any way. So a little bit of center ball, a little bit of left English on it. Just come across. Oh, man, he just skirted by that ball, too. Now, here's an interesting take on this one, on the 6 here. You can draw this back up, bring the cue ball in the center of the table, or you can go inside right and go 3 rails on this and come along the line where you'd be straight in on the 8 ball. Looks like he's going to draw back out on it. Good shot. Very well controlled, too. But there is a shot where you can go inside right, kind of about maybe 1:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock in that range, and go up to the upper end rail to the right side rail and then kind of come on the line straight in for the 8 ball. But when you got a touch to draw a shot like that, why don't you just do that? So, excellent. Look at all of our sponsors. All these sponsors help out on every stream, not just specifically this tournament, but everybody on this screen. We'll go over them throughout the match. And then our specific sponsors for this tournament, the 8-person single elimination $500 entry tournament is Primo Roofing, Gutters, Windows, and Painting, Nick Hansen, Billy Bob at Dehan Garage Doors, Monticello Auto Service with Ryan Janikowski, and Frovix Towing. Chris was actually on the stream a little bit briefly last night. So all 4 of you, thank you for this specific tournament, and all the other sponsors, thank you as always for contributing not only to the tournaments but also this stream and making it possible. And a big shout out to Mr. Jerry Johnson, proprietor and owner here for CR Sports Bar, providing these incredible matches and this incredible venue. So our 1-to-1 race to 11. Tim Tunjum at the table. Pretty elementary run out here. There's not really much to go off. The ball that he'll want to be able to get on specifically, I think, would be the 5 ball. And if you take the 4 right now, I know he wants to clean up the 2 down there, but if he drew off that 4, so went straight back to the rail, he'd be straight in on that 5. And I think you could come back and go after that 2 and then do the 8 ball, but you can also get on the 7. It'll get you on the 5 too. That angle right there will work as well, but I think that 5 is the key. Take care of the 5, then you get to 7 or 3, which either however you end up in the 5 ball. Walk around and take a peek. Always a good idea to that. Even if you know you're out, and let's say you're running through a specific out and the balls are just laying there and it's just kind of a connect the dots out, you always kind of want to walk around and just take a peek, because sometimes, especially the more balls you have on the table, because sometimes something might come up. You might notice something, okay, oh wait, I was going to take this ball next and I should take this ball next, but look at this, now I've got a really good angle on this one. And then it'll open your eyes to a few things. Plus, it also kind of sets you so you don't shoot too fast, and you get into more of a can stay more in your pre-shot routine as well. A little bit better rhythm and tempo. And once again, you'll see him walking around, just kind of taking a peek, making sure where do I exactly want to be. So I think he's gonna run over into the side rail and then bring it back across just below the spot. Nope, he tried to draw and slide over there. Tried to punch that ball. Left him kind of a steeper angle than he wanted, but shouldn't be able to have any problem with this. He could bank this ball, but nobody banks unless they have to. Some of us do, but he could bank this ball and get really perfect position on the 3. It's kind of a dead cross-side bank. Not a bad cut either. You just slide down into the 11 ball. It's a little bit of low right English, and that'll put you on the 3 as well. A lot of ways to get there. Oh, he went around that ball, missed it. Got kind of fortunate there.
That was a great shot right there.
Yep. I think he was trying to run into that stripe, though. Now a little bit of a follow, a little bit of right English on it if you want, but you don't have to. He chills some right, straight into the 8. Makes it look pretty easy.
I was busy with Friday night with that function we had, and I know you commentated the TJ match. How did TJ play that night?
TJ played pretty good. The breakout rolling for him. Mike missed a ball early, and then they kind of exchanged a few runouts, and then TJ just started breaking really well. And TJ made an end rail bank and broke out 2 balls that were in trouble up there. That literally was as good as he could hit it.
And then how about Zach? I heard he kind of put the boots to Ibrahim, did he, or what?
Zach kind of put the boots to him, yeah. Ibrahim didn't really bring his best game. Yeah, Abraham didn't really bring his best. But a lot of times, too, when you get this kind of a level, that you're going to run into people that will get those packages together. You're going to see that more likely than in a Scotch tournament, and you'll see that more likely than in a lower rated tournament, too.
Speaking of Scotch tournament, did you watch the finals last night at all?
No, I wasn't.
I'll tell you what, Austin, Olson, and Hank the Tank, they won it. They played phenomenal.
Did they? Nice.
Oh, man, did they gel together.
Good for them.
They really gelled together. I was impressed.
And you're going to hear both of those names a lot more throughout time here because both of them play incredible pool. So when you're checking out this new stream format here with us too, be sure that you hit the like button on the YouTube browser and also, or through your app, and then also hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate the continued support.
75 watch, but I don't know where the chat deal is.
So Mr. Tim Tunjum at the table. Hank the Tank, Watson. Watching or listening, one of the two. We appreciate it, Hank.
Yeah, Hank, you and Austin played phenomenal. You guys need to get in on the next Friday night one. They played good. And Mo said right next to me, he says they played good.
Who did they beat in the finals?
Soup and Mo.
Soup and Mo. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
And Mo's right next to me, by the way.
Did Hank and Austin have the hot seat then, too?
Yeah.
Did they?
Mo said they destroyed them. Yeah, they played well. All right, let's see what we got here.
Well, there's always darts, too. And there's other things to take up. So that's how it goes, though. I mean, people play such great pool. That match goes either way. This match go either way.
Yeah.
11-3, 11-4, those scores. I know they seem like there's a pretty big disparity, but any of these players can take these matches and just run with them. I think it's a lot harder to do in doubles than it is in singles. But
did you use the overhead camera on Friday night?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep. Sometimes on the overhead cam, and sometimes on the overhead cam, I don't know if it's the viewers see it, but it seems like the balls on the perimeter look squished.
I got to try to.
And then
tune it in a little bit.
I'd heard too that if we could zoom back out a little bit so we could see which shooter is at the table from the overhead.
That might be tough. We're just got basically the shot on the table.
Okay.
I was going to say this, Edward from Albania, he plays the Kachi brothers.
Okay.
He's played them quite a bit over there, and there's a lot of champions over there. So
yep.
He definitely has some seasoning, Mark.
Now, you hit this with some insight here. Ideally, what I would do is try to shape the 5. If I don't get the 5, I can get there off the 6. But I take 2 chances at it. He's going to come up light on that, though. See what I'm saying, though? If he hits that a little bit harder and just comes up maybe a few more inches on that ball, he's straight into the 5. and then you're right on the 6. It makes it a lot easier. I like in those situations to play both balls. I've got the 6, but if I go after that 5 and I'm on it, then it's just a little bit easier, I think. And that comes up often in 8 ball, where you can shape another ball. Try shaping a ball. Okay, if I don't get there, great. I still got another way to get there. But if I do get there now, it just makes things so much easier. Tim shouldn't have any trouble with this ball, though. Ooh, use the whole pocket. As you hit them a little bit softer and a little bit more pocket speed with a little bit of touch, you can, on a diamond, you can get away with missing a ball a little bit more than if you would have jammed that ball at the pocket. Ooh, watch it scratch, watch it scratch. Almost, if he'd hit that a little bit harder, he might have scratched now. You got to be careful when you're shooting that 8 ball or your money ball, etc., is to not be careless with the cue ball. Don't just let that thing just roll. Control it still. Last thing you want to do is make the 8, have the cue ball go like Tim did there, and graze off a ball accidentally, and all of a sudden end up scratching the side pocket. But up 3-1, race to 11. BCA rules, again, everyone not familiar with those rules. If you scratch or foul, knock the cue ball off the table, etc., on the break, you can put the cue ball anywhere on the table compared to behind the kitchen line. And I agree with that. One thing on that is that if you're playing somebody and they break and they scratch or they foul, if you get behind the kitchen, you might not always be able to pick solids or stripes like you want, and you might have a kind of a tougher shot than you really want to start out with, or you might be kind of directed a certain way through the route instead of being able to put the cue ball right into the table. And I don't like being punished for my opponent scratching on the break. And that's where BCA rules, I think, kind of stands out and has an edge on the other formats, is that, you shouldn't be punished to only put ball in hand behind the kitchen. So that's my opinion again. It's whether it's right or wrong, it's debatable, but I just see the benefit of that as a pool player. And it brings more of a price when you scratch in the break, so you got to control the break a little bit better. So Edwards is going to be looking at the only shot he has right now is the stripe. So I would surmise that if he is going to try to pocket a ball, he's going to be taking a shot at that 11 ball. Now, if you get down to see where that 10 is, if you can get down to the right side of that, to where you can cut that in the left side pocket, you can break into that 7 and your 9 and your other stripe is going to go. You don't want to bump into it. It's tough to control from where he was. But you see what I'm saying is if he could have hit that and kind of got to the right side of that 10 ball and had a little bit of an angle to cut that 10 to the side, he'd run into the 7, and then that 9 and the 13 would both find a pocket. Now he's in a world of trouble. He's got a cut on the 10, upper left corner. It's kind of a big pocket with that 12 sitting up there. If you aim to that side of it a little bit, you could graze that ball, still get in. But then you still got to find a way to come down here and work out that 9 and the 13, which is, they're in a tough spot. So 10, upper left corner. Good shot. See, I don't know if apparently the 9 goes. I'm looking over. Yeah, the 9 does go. I'll be danged. Looking over on the table and could see it. And I guess if we'd have gone to the overhead, we could see it too. I did have a couple people mention me in messages that on the overhead, one drawback on that is they can't really tell who's at the table sometimes unless they look at the shirt or what they're wearing. I'll try, when I'm on the overhead, I'll try and remind everybody who's at the table. Obviously Edward is right now. Yeah, it looks like he's going to get out on this table. That was really incredible. That was a great shot, that 10 ball. Not many people want to shoot that 10 ball. That's a tough way to make a living. So he could shoot the 14 and then break that 2 out of there and make it a little bit easier to get on the 11. That ball goes. The ball goes in the side, goes in the corner. You don't have to break them out. And choosing wisely not to move them unless you have to. Especially since he had a ball there by the corner pocket that kind of sets him up on this one really nice. No reason to bust into him. Have something kind of weird happen. And just draw back about 8 to 10 inches. Get straight in on the 8. Pretty slick out there, young man. Well done. Really good out. 3-2, race to 11. BCA single elimination $500 entry tournament at CR Sports Bar in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Between matinee match this afternoon, 1 p.m. start. Tim Tunjum, Edward Bregu. This is our third match that has occurred. Last night we had TJ Steinhaus and Mr. Mike Pankoff finished up 11-3 in favor of TJ, and same as with Zach Boss and Abraham. A couple of wide disparity as far as in scores, but not necessarily in talent in those matches. It's pretty common for at this level to have players put together a few games in a row, if not even more. And as far as in a race to 11, if you get a couple games under your belt and put together a 3-pack, and your opponent makes a mistake, and then you put another, I mean, the match is over. It's you can go that quick. And that is, of course, with all due respect, and tip my hat to TJ and to Zach. You both played incredible. That bank, that end row bank that TJ made is that was something pretty special, and broke out those balls. So Tim's going to be taking his pick here. The solids are not bad at all. The 7 ball will go once the 1's out of the way. The only thing I don't like is starting out in solids. You're shooting kind of over the ball on the 2, unless you can get at that 3 ball. Take a peek here on our overhead cam. And the 4 goes down there too. Stripes doesn't really have unless you do the combo on the side, Stripes isn't bad. I don't mind Stripes from here either. The thing I do on the Stripes, if I take that 11-13 combo, doing my best to make sure that 11 stays in front of that side and I don't shoot that ball, because I think that 11 will get me on the 8 ball if I were to take Stripes. If it doesn't get me on the 8, I could use it to bump that 7 ball right by it and then open it up even more. But it looks like he can shoot the 3. No? This overhead shot of the table is pretty slick. And then it is Tim Tunjum at the table right now.
I'm in and out here, Mark.
In and out, that's all right.
Busy. 3-2 here, huh?
3-2. That was a heck of an out by Edward that last rack.
Yeah, keep an eye on him. He's sneaky. Sneaky. What's Tim shooting at here?
It's an open table right now. He hasn't made his mind up yet. I think he's going to start out with the 2 ball though. If he makes his 2, the solids are pretty slick. Only thing on Stripes is that you'd have to just find a way to get in the 8, which isn't really a hard thing with this layout either. But I like the 2, especially if you can get a good shot of that cue ball.
The top pros, they'll take a tougher shot in the beginning to get out. Now that was that was the case right there.
Yep.
The top players, you know what I mean?
Upper players will usually take that a little bit tougher shot on the rack.
Now, a normal league player would not have shot that ball.
Nope.
They would have shot the 11-13.
They would have shot the combo. Yep.
Absolutely.
They would have shot the combo. They do take the easier ball, which, like you're exactly right, as you get a little bit better, you start taking a little bit harder shot to start the rack out because it opens it up so much for you.
Let's take a look back here. Is it this one? This one.
Yep, that one there. Now the only thing you want to do is get rid of that 1, and that 7 goes right in there just fine. The 1 can go right now. Seems like he's kind of a little steep on that ball, though.
Yeah,
if I take the 1,
I shoot that 1 right now.
I think I do the 1 because then my 7 goes for sure if I get up table somehow. Watch out! Kind of fortunate there.
Caught a little break right there.
Yep. Now, but I'm going after my 5 ball. I'm going to shoot that 3. I'm going to hit some low draw and some right, and I'm going to slide up table. If I don't get in the 5 now, I can shoot to 6. But I'd like to take care of that 5 ball, especially with the 7 on the table. Because if I get kind of a little bit of an angle on the 5, then I can slide over for the 7. If I get a little angle on the 5, I can't really slide over for the 6. I got to go back and forth. Just as I
good shot
thought
there.
he'd go for that 5. Now I predict he's going to go out for that 7 ball.
Ooh, play bank pool.
Yep. Yeah, he hit an 8 ball in and won a couple rails too.
Did he?
Hit the points a couple times.
That's all right. It's bank pool Sunday, Mark. We are getting another monitor, so we'll have 2 monitors. We can watch the YouTube and check the chat then.
Check the chat.
So,
Okay.
and everybody hit that like and subscribe button. I'm not sure quite how it works yet, but people told me that's what I need people to do.
Yep.
When it does get monetized, then any money we make on that YouTube is going to go for the Friday night events.
Nice.
So just so everybody knows.
For the tournaments here, or for the not the
any,
weekly tournament, but
no,
for
no,
this? Or?
No, yeah, just for the live stream
Nice.
events we have, the Scotch doubles, the singles,
Nice.
Stuff like that. So just everybody, just so you know that. So that's what we're trying to shoot for.
You know what you need to do to get the likes up then? You need to have that Swift in here for watch a match.
Have who?
That Taylor Swift in here to watch
Who?
a match.
What's her name? Who's that, Mark?
I'll get you going early on this one. You get the Swifties in here.
Oh,
and then
jeez.
you'll be up in like 7 figures on those subscribers.
Yeah, don't even go there. I'll be right back. You're killing
Oh
me.
my God. Jerry's sprinting to the bathroom right now. Oh man. So 4-2, Tim Tunjum up to an early lead.
All right, I am going to take off here. I just had
right.
to pick up my wife this morning from the hospital. She had gallbladder removed last night.
Yes,
So
we're in our prayers, man.
I had to run to the store, grab
Everything
some
going
stuff.
well?
Yep. I had
Good.
to go get some stuff from the store, and I'm heading back home right now and see her. So I'm going to tune in and listen and watch.
All right.
But everybody enjoy the day and watch a little pool here, and keep an eye on this Edward. This guy can play, but Tim's up 4-2.
Up 4-2. Yep.
Going to 11 winter breaks. And we'll let you know now the next few weeks we got things going on with there's a tournament up north in Evelyn. There's the upper Midwest, so I got to kind of figure out the schedule for this 8-player tournament. So we'll let everybody know on Facebook when it's going to be up and running.
Sure. Keep an eye on Facebook. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and it'll give you updates as well.
And thanks for commentate, Mark, and I'll be
Appreciate
tuning
it.
in. So, all right, everybody, have a good day.
Yep, have a good one, Jerry. Yeah, and everybody. Okay. Yep. So 4-2, race to 11, and if everybody keep Jerry's wife in their prayers and thoughts. Seems that she had successful surgery, so hope you heal up well and heal up quick. So here we are with a scratch in the break, a foul, and as you'll see, Edward will be able to get ball in hand anywhere on the table. It's a part of the rules that, again, that I touched on briefly, and I really feel that's a great format. Not being punished for your opponent fouling on the break is pretty slick. Playing both formats, and there are advantages and I guess disadvantages both. So. So the 8-ball will go. The stripe right by there is going to kind of give him a little bit of trouble in 9-ball. But what I do, if I shoot this 4, I'm going to try and drop into that 9, I think. Or I'm going to use one of those balls, either the 7 or the 5, and I'm going to try to move that 8-ball out of there. In fact, I might even shoot the 5 now and bump that 8 now. So Tim checking to make sure the rules were, in fact, BCA. And the only reason, I mean, you don't have to move the 8, but with those stripes right there, well, you kind of have to. You kind of got to move one of them. If I got to move the 9 and the 10, then I'm just probably going to move the 8. I think I would. We'll see what he does with it. He's going to move something, though. Bump the 10. That'll work. Opened up the 8, made it way more accessible. Now it's just don't miss and connect the dots. The 6 goes by the 1 on the side. Probably take that right now. You can take the 2 and come back for it. The only weird ball will be that 5 ball. You don't want to be kind of in an odd angle on that ball. If you notice right now, if he were to shoot that 2 and slide back a little bit to the left, just a hair, he'd be straight in that 5. And I almost think if I'm in this situation here, I might do that. I might take that 2, get a really good angle on the 5, because I take the 5, I can roll down and get on my 7, then I go up to the 3, and then 1 6, and then 1 6 ball gets me on the 8. The only reason I'm saying that, look at that 5 ball. If you get if you're over by the 3, then you're back cutting the 5. Cue ball runs a little wild. You can't go to the right side of it because there's really no window there. And if you can get it on it like that from the 2, you can get even closer and make it easier. That's perfect, though. Perfect spot there. If I had ball in hand, I'd probably put it there. But you see the value in that, though? And obviously, he put it over the rail and got a little bit closer on it. But if you're not comfortable doing that, you could take that 2 and just draw just a few inches, just slide not much, just kind of bring it up table, down table on your view, just a little bit. And then you had a really good angle on that 5. You take care of that 5, the rest is just elementary. And as I thought, he'd go, 7 over to the 3. 3 will get you on the 1, 1 gets you on the 6, 6 gets you on the 8. He might end up with the 6 first if he rolls forward on this. Too far. Oh, he's going to do 1 and then 6. And I like, again, that his patience of walking around, just taking a peek. Okay, where do I want to be? What could happen? Maybe that go wrong. Okay, what do I want to, little area I want to make sure I'm going to be. Just be comfortable with it, And well done. Little stop shot. Maybe he may slide this cue ball to the left just a hair. But straight in. There you go. Well done, Edward. Nice out. Pretty key that he bumped that stripe, though, and opened up that 8 ball a little bit earlier with that ball in hand. Took full advantage of that ball in hand and made the rack easy for him. So 4-3, race to 11. CR Sports Bar, Coon Rapids, Minnesota, our whole bevy of sponsors. We appreciate every one of you. Thank you for everything, not only on this tournament, the 4 that have contributed on this tournament, but every one of you contributes throughout the streams and on other Scotch W's events, etc. And you make it pretty special. So it's 4-3. Tim Tunjum, Edward Bregu. Race to 11. Edward's at the table now, and he's gonna smash this rack. Listen how solid that was. Cue ball kind of ended up in a never land up there, but you got a stripe right in front of the side pocket, makes it a little bit easier to start out. Stripes are sitting pretty good. You really don't have any troubles on that table. 9 ball goes in either corner pocket. 8 ball's got a pocket. If you take this stripe off that 3, then you got to be careful of where the 3 might end up. I think the 3 will go straight across to the left side of the table, though. It shouldn't be a factor. See how it ends up? Oh, it went down. Moved a whole lot of furniture that shot, but came out okay. Eight still goes. 3-1 goes for Tim if he doesn't happen to get to the table, so not a problem there. Problem that Tim would have from this position right now would be the 5 ball. Is accessible in kind of weird ways by that 4 ball, but I don't believe Tim will get back to the table on this one. Some low right. Put out the cue ball up there for the 13. And 15 does go on the side, so he has that available to him. Hit this ball with some right English, a little bit of follow, go up to the rail, and then I'd try to get the cue ball maybe in between the 15 and the 5 ball. Split the goalpost, so to speak. Got to bump it. Got to bump it. Get a little separation. Well, that worked out okay, but a little bit of a roll of the dice there with some luck factor. Happens in every game, and it happens a lot on where positioning shots. It's part of the game. So better players make better luck for themselves. If you hit that hard, as some players may do, hit it harder, then that may have ended up in trouble. It's like Little Joe has said that when you're breaking balls apart, or if you have a trouble ball or a cluster like that, you don't need to hit them hard. You just need to separate them. You just need to kind of lay into them sometimes and just move them a little bit. The worst thing you can do is break them out and then have them go to the rail and come back right where they were and meet up again for another cluster party. So we're looking at a race to 7, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty solid out. Well done there too with letting the cue ball come to a complete stop. Must have been watching his streams in the last couple months. So Edward Bregu is from Albania. I'd always mispronounce the name, but Clinty Kachi and those guys, evidently he's played a lot with them over the years. Yeah, they are on the Pro Tour, one of the stronger players on the Pro Tour. Other than that, I don't know much about this gentleman. Just that he plays some really jam-up pool and that he breaks the balls very, very solid. Anytime you get up around that 700 range or above, there, it's pretty much just jam-up pool. Look at that cue ball. Cue ball goes back about maybe a foot and a half off that rack, stops in its tracks, curls forward a couple more inches, and just sits right there. Makes things really a lot easier when you got that kind of a layout and a break. Pretty impressive. He's got to get on that ball by the 8 ball there. What is that one, the 15? If he had a little bit better angle on this, he could shape that ball, but he might end up trying to bump into it. No, he's going to shape it. Too much. A little bit too much. That was a tough ball to get on, man, especially with that angle right there. I kind of think with that angle, if you got to like slow roll, have that ball roll to just a really precise spot on that kind of a back cut, I'm running into those balls. I'm not going to try to. Tim ain't going to like this safety right here, but I'm going to run into those balls right there. I'm going to run the cue ball into that, because if he hit that a little bit firmer along that similar path, that 15 ended up in a bad spot. It's not pocketable for him, but neither is a 5 for Tim. But on a shot like that, if you're not 100% certain that you're going to hold it for that 15 ball, run it into the 8 ball. Because if you're running into the 8 ball, the 8's going to go and it's going to open up, and you're going to be out regardless. It's always easy, hindsight is 20/20, but at the same time, those of us that have played enough pool or played enough games will recognize things that no matter what level, we can point out and observe and say, hey, this is what you need to do to not have that happen. And he kind of got unfortunate, Edward did, when he didn't have a good angle off that ball. So Tim looks like he's going to play safe and try to tuck this up behind the 3 ball. If he hits this right, hit a little bit. There you go, perfect. I was going to say, if he hit that at a slower speed, that 4 would come in between Edward and the stripe anyways, but looks like he can kick for it at least. Perfect, I guess, would have been tucked up on the 3 where he couldn't do this kick, so. Now he's got 2 balls down there hugging the 5 ball. There's a little menage a trois going on down there all of a sudden. And that's a tough ball for Tim to get to, that 5 ball. That is a tough ball. I'm probably going to put him behind the 3 ball again. I'm going to go up to that end row with the cue ball with some right English, and I'm going to tuck the cue ball up in there behind the 3. The thing you want to protect against, or I could shoot this 4 and get to where I could go up to that end row and hide behind the 3 a little bit more securely. The thing that I would hate to do is if I try to safe now, end up leaving a little bit of a peak on that 14 ball because that's cuttable from there in the side pocket. So if I can make this 4, I think I make the 4, slide up to the upper end row, and then I just roll into the 3 and hide the cue ball behind it. He might not even try to make this ball. Oh, he did. See right where he ended up there? Instead of running into the 3, I think I would have hid behind there and gotten ball in hand. That's a good shot too. That's a pretty good spot right there to leave your opponent. Now keep in mind that even with ball in hand, Tim can take the 5 in the side pocket. So you have to get a hit here. With that 5 being where it is, don't worry about, oh, it's going to come up a little bit light. Now the 5 will go in the other side pocket. But on a shot like that where if their ball's tied up like that, you have to just get a hit. Don't worry about where the cue ball might end up. If it ends up where they're in an advantageous position, that's fine. There's not much you can do in that. But make sure that you hit the ball and get a legal hit. Because Tim was pretty handcuffed with that 5 where it was. And I would be surprised off this 2 ball here if he doesn't like it. I think maybe he's shooting too far over that 7-1. If he had a little bit better angle in the 2, or if he wasn't shooting over these balls, I'd take that 2 and try to get on the 7 or the 1 from here. And that's what he's going to do. Trust your stroke. Go across the table. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was very obviously surprising. I think he should have trusted his first judgment and just shot it the first time. It's easy to do here in the booth, but a lot of times, and I make this mistake myself too, a lot of times when we get up and then kind of rethink it and go back down, what we've done is if we haven't affirmed that we're going to hit it well, we've actually allowed the seed that is planted about something bad happening to grow. Not always, but if I have, say, an arbitrary number of 2 or 3% chance of something bad happening, and then I stop and think about it and then let that thing expand to 6 or 7, that's not going in the right direction. And we do that a lot. I'm very guilty of it when I play pool. And then you'll always hear, and you'll hear me squawk afterwards too, I should just trust your first judgment. There are times, of course, where it's beneficial to take your time, get up on the ball, and just make certain of things. But in a situation like that, I think Tim just had to just trust his stroke initially and just shoot the ball. Made it into something more than it was. I think there's a law about that. Was it not Pavlov's law or something? Maybe that is Pavlov's law, where you manifest something. And hey, buddy. Getting some well wishes and thumbs up, people walking by the booth up here. Always appreciate the support and the feedback. Quite a little crowd in the house. Mr. and Mrs. Rob Matson are in the house. Melanie Matson. Grace Matson's in the house, talking to Mr. Mo Bashir up at the counter here. Siko Varani's in the house. Jake Gallery's in the house. Corey Shue. Peyton and Sean Holmes. There's about 75% of the tables are being in use right now. 45 degrees on a Sunday. We appreciate the sport. This is where I am. I'm in here watching some pool. I came in and played a little one pocket with Mr. Rob Matson. Got my whooping in for the day. And right now we got Edru storming back, not only down, but storming back and taking the lead now. Solids look wonderful. If you can get on the right side of the table and take the 7, and then you get on the left side, you could take the 1 from there. You could also get on the other side of the table and take the 1 after the 7 is gone. Because there's sometimes these tables where everything's kind of sitting there, and there's multiple patterns and multiple ways to get out. And sometimes, I'm not saying this is a situation you'll see here, but sometimes what we do as players, we just start, kind of haphazardly shooting balls, thinking, well, I've got so many options that no matter what happens, I'm going to be on something. And kind of in a way here, I mean, 5 ain't necessarily ideally what he wants to shoot, but we get these the racks where they're wide open, and they're not necessarily sitting in front of the holes where you can just shoot whatever you want, but we get in the habit of, okay, well, I'll just shoot, and I'll get on the ball. If not, I'm good enough at manipulating the cue ball. I'll make it work. But that's where we get wayward, and that's where we lose a little bit of our discipline. I don't have that discipline because I fall into that trap myself. But it's almost like when you get to the end of the game and you're shooting your last ball or shooting the 8 ball, a good way to shoot the 8 ball is to shape a ball off that ball, an imaginary ball. Play for a position. Don't get the cue ball going around 3-4 rails for shape or nothing, but hit it with purpose. And sometimes when we don't have a defined pattern or a route that we want to go, we end up getting in situations like this where we're it's not a bad situation, but at the same time, a suddenly just easy rack becomes a something a little bit different, and then we gotta work a little bit harder than we probably should. It's almost like taking puzzle pieces, and you start putting the puzzle together, and you start seeing it coming together. Then all of a sudden, you just run your hands through it and just scatter the pieces. And I'm going to do it this way instead. Well, okay, all right. Good luck with that. But Edwards really making some of these racks look pretty easy, and that's what you see when you get up around these 700s and 700s up, that things just get came a little bit hot off. So you didn't need to move that ball, though. You didn't need to move those. I know he was frustrated. I think he was trying to bump into one of those. I think he was trying to bump into the 11, but you didn't need to move them. If you got good on that 2, you just shoot the 3 with a stop shot from the 2, and then you would have just slid over and took the 8. 1, 2, 3 rails. There you go. Now just draw over and slide slide behind, not behind, but in front of that 915, and then you're on the 8 ball. He might not have enough angle. No, I'm sorry. He's straight in. Now, if he'd have played the 2 better, just saying, if he'd have played that 2 better instead of trying to break that 11 ball, he's going to come down to the bottom of the table, take the 8 in the side pocket. How's that speed, man? Wow, he hit that good. Hit that good. I like being there almost rather than straight in on this shot, just because straight in you can see that cue ball is going to be getting closer to the rail. At least now you got a full cue ball. You can give it a little bit better stroke, I think. Good out. So Edward Bregu up 6-4. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Thanks again for tuning in. CR Sports Bar. Be right back. 6-4, race to 11, BCA rules. CR Sports Bar, Coon Rapids, Minnesota. This is Mark Weaver in the booth, commentating this match today. We had 2 of them on Friday. $500 entry, single elimination. And a lot of opportunity for balls to go in there, but nothing went. Seemed kind of a thunk to that break. More of a thunk than a smack. Now Tim, looking at a 2-game deficit. About 25 minutes ago, he was enjoying the 2-game lead. A lot of pool to play. If you notice where that 1 ball is, regular viewers of the streams that I commentate will be quite familiar with what I call that ball. There's a lot of names, and I'm not going to get FCC violations for calling it, but I do not like that ball right there. The only real thing, the 7 ball would be taken care of right here. Just a little slide draw shot. Tim hits those really good. He hits a lot of balls really good, though. Anybody not really familiar with Tim Tundrum and follows Minnesota pool, you've been living in a cave, because his name's up there with the elites for sure. It's a factor in any event that he's in. Now, I'm not sure that 3 goes in the side. So, yep, take the 1. I was going to say, I didn't think he was shaping that ball. That would have been uncharacteristic. That stripe being down there really makes this one a little bit warmer to me, though, because if that 1 comes off the rail like that, there you go. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he might not have gotten that 4 ball. Although I think that 2, if he has to, yeah, he can make the 4. I think the 2 ball actually goes up in the upper left corner pocket. Through all those stripes, between the 10 and the 8, between the 13 and the 9. Yeah, it does go up in the upper left, 12 and the 9, I'm sorry. It does go up in the upper left corner pocket, but it looks like he has the 4. That was close. He almost lost that 4 ball right there. So we're going to find a way to come back for that 2. Good shot. Man, that is a good shot. That is not an easy ball. One, 2 rails. Wow, how do you hit that ball? Man, how do you hit that ball? Wow. Now, if you don't want to do too much on this ball, you can get away with just center ball and just rolling it into the rail, coming back out. It makes making the shot easier when you're jacked up over a ball. In situations like this, you just get to where you don't have to try to do too much with the cue ball. The shot's already a little bit more difficult, so just kind of roll it in. He hit it with a little bit of draw and kind of snapped it more. Gave a little bit more of a stroke, but if you're not comfortable with those, just focus more on just getting center ball, just making the ball. If you can just roll the ball into the rail and come back out, that's all you got to do. 6-5, good out there. So around the horn real quick, O'Keefe's Collision, Auto Body and Paint, Mr. Dave O'Keefe. Any of your needs, feel free to give any of these companies a ring and see what they can do for you. Military Mortgage Guru, Mr. Stephen Brand, one of the sponsors of the upcoming Break for Vets coming up here at CR's. Pine Insurance Agency, Mr. Dale, been a long-time sponsor. We appreciate it. Primo Roofing, Siding, Windows, Gutters, and Painting, Mr. Nick Hansen and John Hutton. D-Han, Billy Bob, Garage Doors, Dirty Whore, the proprietary clothing line here at CR's. And I've almost got to talk like end of one of those commercials where they talk about I got to do like the terms and conditions kind of speed to get all of them in, and that's a good thing because all those sponsors have just shown one. It's working. People love the streams. People love the matches that Jerry's putting together, the tournaments he's putting together, and more and more sponsors are wanting to jump on board. So we thank each and every one of you, not just myself and the people here, but everybody watching the stream in the pool community. It's pretty cool. Thank you. Tim with a good solid break. Make sure when you're on the stream as well, if you get a chance, hit the like button and also the subscribe button if you can on YouTube there. And as Jerry mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in, any monetary things that would come from the YouTube are going to be passed on to these tournaments. So you'll have, if it gets to where there's enough subscriptions and interest, etc., then anything monetarily will actually be kicked back into these events. Not the Friday Night Weekly, but into these Scotch doubles and singles events that Jerry's been putting on. So pretty awesome deal. Tim Tunjum at the table. I think I say Tin more than Tim. If I do, I apologize. Wow, what a combo. Good shot. Good shot. Now he's got an angle on the 9 right now to slide up into the 12. You've got to be careful on this if you're going to take this, not to draw so far up that you lose your 15 ball. Just in case he gets stuck. Well, he went into the rail a little bit instead of being able to draw back clean into it, which is not a big thing, but could have turned out a little bit more ideal. See the view here. I think he can make the 11. I think he's more concerned about that cue ball getting away from him. If he has to go rail first, yeah, he doesn't have to rail first. He can just go up to the left. On your screen now, you can just go up to the upper rail there, which is a side rail. Hit that one really good. Great speed on that one. That was a really good shot. It's not always easy just to kind of thin cut a ball and then put a little inside and then control your speed and put it like within just an area the size of a softball. A lot of things that happen in pool, and it really at a lot of levels. You know, I tip my hat to some of the lower rated players as well, because this happens as much for them. Well, it's a phenomenon that happens with them too, is that people hit balls really good these days. I mean, everybody's playing some good pool. And you also pat yourselves on the back a little bit because, you know, sometimes we make this game look pretty easy at all levels. And obviously as you get higher rated, you're doing it on a more consistent basis. But, you know, the league systems I play in, we play some, you know, broad range of ratings and playing abilities. And sometimes some of the shots of people that are lower rated than me, I just clap my hands and pat them. It's just, you hit that ball good. Yeah, that's exciting to see. It's really cool. Definitely, it's a good signs of a healthy and prosperous, as far as abilities, pool community. And that's what we have here in the Metro Twin Cities and in this whole region up here. I'd say in the 5-state region, it's just a really good communities. Come back across, got to get moving. A little bit of a back cut, should be okay. It's a situation there, and it's easy again on the booth, but it's a situation where if you're shooting that ball and you think about the speed, and he hit that good. I thought that ball was going to come across enough for him. And he caromed off the 2 and the 1, but got straight in the 8. Well done. Hit that firm enough that if he did hit any of those balls, that cue ball was going to come through. So that was very well executed. But on that previous shot where he went back and forth on the table, there is kind of a thing where I mentioned where you want to look and see, okay, what do I not want to have end up on this ball? I don't want to end up short. If I end up short, I don't have a shot. If I go long, I end up going to the rail again, but I also have another, half the width of the table to come back across. But he handled that just fine with that back cut. But let's say that he had come up another inch or two short of that. He's not cutting that ball. He's not back cutting that ball. But if you notice to the left on your screen, he had another 1.5 foot over to the rail, and then 1.5 foot coming back where he had a window. So he had another 3 feet of window over there to play to with that cue ball. That's a pretty big window. Race to 5. This is a race to 11, 6-6. I didn't have to use my my phone for that math work there, but it is a race to 5 now. And quite the crowd here at CRs. Every table is occupied right now except for one. No, 2, I'm sorry. There goes my math again. But pretty busy in here right now. A lot of spectators here watching this match. 6-6, Tim Tundrum at the table. $500 entry, single elimination. BCA rules. Pretty solid. Got a ball in. Seems like a few times now, not just with Edward, but with Tim, that cue balls ended up kind of in that same spot up there. Same in that kind of within that few inches, or within a diamond or so of that upper left corner on your screen. It looks like it gets bumped there once in a while too, but I've seen it also kind of get drawn back up in that area. Now you could take stripes here. The 13 is makeable down in the lower left corner, but solids have pockets everywhere on the table. I would play for the 1 ball in the lower right corner off this shot. Hit that one pretty hard. If you hit that softer with control, the 1 was going to release down the table from your view, just diamond or 2. Cue ball, you roll the cue ball over to that side of the table, and you're looking straight in at the 1 down here in the lower right corner pocket. I'm not sure why you hit that ball so hard, because the 1 was going to come down off that rail no matter what. I'd play that ball every time to shape that 1 down here in the lower right corner pocket, and I would have hit that about 20% less, or 80% less as hard as it hit that one. Now you got a 12 ball hanging out over there by the 2 and 5. That is fixable, and I would use the 3 ball for that. And 3 ball in the right side pocket, and I'd draw over into that 12 ball. The key will be if he can get down here somehow in the 6 ball or get in that area for the 3 ball. Looks like he's going to shoot the 2 though. And all this would have been negated, would have never came into play if he didn't hit that combo like a break shot and just kind of laid it over there a little bit softer. Controlled it. Because hitting it that hard, even if you're trying to get the cue ball off that rail, hitting it as hard as he did in that combo, you're putting that 1 down in all this mess, and it's going to cost him. Might have got away with that because he's either looking at a combo or he could do the 12 into the 2-13. Pretty easy combo if he can shoot one of these stripes into it. Let's go overhead. Looks like the 14 might catch the 2. I don't like that shot though. Looks like the 12 will catch the 2, but I don't really like that shot either. Although if I do the 12, if I shoot the 12 though, if you go into the bottom in the rail, right in between those 2 diamonds and run back towards that 3 ball, that'll open up the 11 ball for you. And you're almost certain you're going to be on that 9 ball. I almost guarantee you're going to have that 9 ball for the next shot if you play it that way. So yeah, I like using that 12. If I'm going to do that 12, I'm going to try to bump that 3. The 11 does have a pocket in the upper left, would be in the corner, upper left corner on your screen there. But I don't know. I don't like that ball there. Oh, we did the combo that way. Even more creative. Note to self, do not play Edward in 1 pocket. I think I might even use my reminder on my phone here real quick, on my iPhone here. Let me see here. Reminder. Back to the right date. Yep, February 4th. Do not play Edward Brogu in one packet. Enter. Okay. Look at that shot. So the only issue he's going to have to work through is that 11 ball. And I think he's going to try to take care of that right now. Stun the cue ball into the 3. And the cue ball should slide. Oh, he's going to shape it. Yeah, I think he wanted to be down a little bit more. Now, here's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to blast into that off this 9 ball. I'm not going to try to shape this ball. I'm going to shoot that 9. I'm going to come up and I'm going to run into that 11 ball. I'm going to try to run into it so it hits the 3 and hit the right about where the numbers is on the 3. It might be the wrong way to play it, but or do that. Make it easier. Note to self, like I just said, my note to self: do not play this guy in one pocket. Now don't play with an 8 ball. Man, is he solid. See if he'll play for the side or if he'll draw back and just take it up in the corner. Yeah, take it up in the corner. Take your pick here. You can go right corner, left corner. Whichever corner you're going to take, you're probably going to shoot the 8 ball in the opposite lower corner. Good shot. The way he held that cue ball, too. And this should put him at 7-6. That was a great shot that he did on that 9 ball. That was very, very well done to move up and just bump into the 8 and put him straight on that ball. I was looking at blasting into that stuff, but that's why I'm a 676 and he's a 730 something. Let's see here. So 7-6, race to 11, BCA rules. TJ Steinhaus in the house, checking out the match. Got some play going on the big table on number 11. And all kinds of people shooting pool here this afternoon. Bar is about a third of the way full. Quite the crowd here today. So this is the third match again in this series, eight-person entry. Last night we had Mr. TJ Steinhaus victorious over Mike Pankoff, 11-3. And score is the same for Zach Boss over Abraham. First place in this gets $4,000. Second place, $2,000. 4 of our sponsors that are regular sponsors with us: Primo, D-Hand Garage Doors, Monticello Auto Service, and Frobix Recovery and Towing are the sponsors for this specific event. Thank you again. And a couple matches that we're still looking to play would be Mr. Rob Matson and Jesse Engel. That's the last first-round match to be played. And I would predict that we will crush the numbers for viewership on that one. That's pretty high profile, about as high profile as you get for this area. Multinational champion, semi-retired, semi-pro. Jesse played on the pro tour and certainly deserves all the respect and accolades he gets for his achievements. Hell of a pool player. Done some incredible things, and as has Rob too. It's gonna be one heck of a match. But we have one barn burner going on right now. Yes, I said barn burner. 7-6, Edward over Tim Tundrum. Gonna shoot the 10 by there. Go to the overhead real quick. And he should be out here. See how he breaks this out. Put some English on it, looks like. Try to hit it with he was looking to shoot it with left-handed. The 9 works really good to break this out. with control, because then you could, if you can get an angle kind of where the cue ball is, you can just kind of gently roll the 9 and then split the difference between the 3 and the 13, and then shoot the 13 where the 14 will go. But that works there too. Hold up. That works too. So if he has to shoot the 9 here, that 13 will move again. Careful on the scratch here. Upper right corner. He's got to carry him off a few balls to get there, but oh, hit that good. He could have caught that stripe, the edge of that, and it would have went off the rail, possibly off the 14 in that corner. Things like that just don't. They hit it so good at this level that those kind of things don't typically happen for them. For me, I find a way to make that happen. So, let's see what we got for an overhead on this, because he's got to kind of be careful on this ball. Or hit it like that. Man, that's good. I am glad that I went to this overhead, because that's a great path on that ball. Most people, and myself maybe included, are going to end up running that 6 ball. And he hit that thin enough and cheated the pocket so that he could avoid the 6, come over to the side rail, and then end up popping up table out like that. If he would have gotten to where that 6 ball is, this is a tough out then. However, from where I would have on that 6, you shoot that 12, run the cue ball into the 8, and then you'd be on the 15. But there's a lot of good things have to happen in that route. That was definitely worth the price of admission. And look at where that ball is, though. He literally is about an inch and a half away from being perfect straight in on that ball. Even if he's not straight in, he could have cheated that. But I don't know. I think he's got too much of an angle to shoot it and then use the 5 ball to hold him, to hold the cue ball. I don't think he can hold it off that. Yeah, he ain't going to run to the 5. So he's going to go the other route and take the 15 and try to take the 9 in the upper left corner. $12, I'm sorry. That dang pink ball. That and the 4 ball. See, it's right by the cue ball too. 4 balls were not meant to be pink. I'm sorry. I know it's a TV ball, so I'm not trying to, but the 12 ball shouldn't be pink either. Man, what a solid out. And there's other sets of balls too where the balls aren't the typical colors either. Like on the counter here, the 7 ball is the dark burgundy color, and then the 4 ball is of course purple. But there's other TV balls that they're even different colors than we have here. So we should be grateful for what we got, because the other ones are even harder. Oh, he missed it. Oh my goodness, opportunity for Tim. Holy cow. Wow, that is a huge, 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 huge swing. I like what he's doing here, just taking a couple seconds to compose himself. You got a task at hand, and you've done this a million times. So you just want to take a peek and just make sure, okay, I've done all these things, I've hit all these shots. Take your time. Make sure you're 100% certain which ball you want to shoot and how you want to get to the next one. Now he's on his path. Two, 5, 4, 6, 3. Nope, he ain't gonna. Oh, he might do the 4 still. Yeah, I like going from the 5 to 4 here and then working up to the 6-3 and then come back for the 8. Just because if you leave this 4 for your last ball, if you get kind of a weird angle, then you don't have to go over the side rail and stroke it back, with some English to come back across. Clean it up. Make it easier for yourself. You can play this bevy of ways to get over, an angle for the 3 to get on the 8. I kind of like drawing back a little bit. You want to make sure you don't come across the table too much, which he's kind of flat angle on this, but I don't even mind going forward a little bit and just going 2 rails and spinning down to the end rail. But that kind of shot right there, solid. Hit this with some follow, put a little bit of right English on it just to keep it straight coming across, like that. Watch the side pocket. And that's on a shot like that. Ooh, 2 railer again on his last ball. But on a shot like that where he shot the 3, you see how the cue ball floated and it did get a little bit closer to the side pocket? A lot of players scratch on that shot. And that's why I said some right English on it. And the right English, what it does is it pinches it off the rail. Instead of that deflection angle going towards the side, it'll tighten that angle up. It'll make it narrower. So then you end up coming by the 3rd diamond instead of towards the side. I myself don't like shooting that ball. I like to shape that 3 so I can go into the upper rail and then over to the side rail, or even if I have a straight draw shot on it. But I don't like going in. But I don't like shooting that ball to where I float it towards the side pocket like that. I avoid that situation. And Tim might have hit that 6 a little bit more full than he planned to and ended up with that angle, but you'll see people scratching it. I'll just say this too, on a diamond, it happens, but on a valley table, I think that ball tracks to that scratch a lot. So I avoid that. I just try to avoid it entirely. Give myself a different angle, shape it differently, but he's in trouble here now. If that 4 is pretty accessible, then solids are off and running. This will be a quick rack here. 3, 1, 4, 7, 6, 2, 5, 8. Unless he goes over for the 5 ball now and wants to come back for the 7. I'm trying to shape the 7 or the 4 here. Should be good. Having somebody take a peek at it, maybe.
Open. I just asked you if it's open shot, man. It's totally open.
It's pretty open, yeah. I mean, it should be open. Quarter or just all.
Back in the booth. Had to call the hit. Hit that ball pretty well. He could have mishit that ball. That on the screens here, it might have showed as pretty accessible, but it was closer than it looked. Before he shot it, so well that it was pretty obvious that it was good. But always a good idea to get a referee on those situations. Always get a referee if you're in any kind of a question like that at all. As a competitor, you have the right to get a referee, and in your best interest, whether you're playing a singles tournament or a team event, it is in your best interest to get a referee in those situations too. So 8-7, race to 11. That game, that was quite the out. the balls are, you see these breaks. If they're not making a ball in the break, they're spreading them so good that it's really wide open tables. The only ball that he had any kind of concern at all on was just probably the one that was getting from the 5 to the 8, and that was it. On that 4 ball, though, what you do on those, if you are a little bit worried about that ball going in, you can hit that to miss it with a bunch of left English in that case, which would have been outside, and you can throw that ball in the pocket. Throwing it means that if you hit a ball, a center ball, on a contact point of the ball, it'll go a certain direction. If you use English on that, in that case outside, throw will take that line that it's going to go and it'll move it to the right. It'll throw the ball to the right. And that's how you can cheat the pocket, move the cue ball around better. A while back in this match, when I mentioned about hitting it with just center ball and going to the rail and coming back out, you don't typically get any throw off that at all unless the ball skids or something. Softer you hit it with throw, putting English on the ball, the more that throw will take. And now the cue ball is up by the upper end rail in the corner pocket on the other side of the table. So 8-7, race to 11 here. He doesn't have a shot on a solid. There's no pocket of ball on a solid. Unless that 1-12-5 combo goes, and it does. Look at that 3-ball combo right by the spot. That 1-12-5 goes. If he wants solids, he could shoot that from where he's at. I'm almost certain that goes. And if it's close enough that you can manipulate that with some English if you wanted to. That 3-ball combo goes. I think he has a look at the 2, though. But that one, if you shoot that combo, though, that 1-12-4 combo, if you shot that right now, you solve your problems. And those problems are the 1 and the 5, the 1 and the 4. Those are your problems. I think the 1 does have a pocket in the right side pocket, though. But if you shot that 3-ball combo, I think he's still going to end up shooting that 3-ball combo. I'm a fan of him shooting this 3-ball combo. In fact, there's I mentioned this in the stream before. One time I shot a 5-ball combo in an 8-ball match. It wasn't the right shot to shoot, but it's like, how often does a 5-ball combination come up? And I mentioned this before in the stream too. I think that, like in the APA where they give patches out for things, that should be a patch. A lot of people make the 8 in the break, and it's commendable. But a 5-ball combo, that should be like a coveted patch. You even should get like a shiny jacket for that. The shiny jacket that says 5-ball combo kid or something. So how often does that come up? I mean, if you're playing pool, whether you're friends or in a league match, I wouldn't recommend it in a tournament. But if you get a 5-ball combo line up, you got to shoot it, right? I mean, you have to. See if you got down here enough for the 1. Nope. But now we'll see about that 3-ball combo. Now, keep in mind, if he would have shot that on his first shot from where he started out, everything would have spread for him on solids, and then he could have shaped a 7-ball off that too. You almost got a really, really lovely bump from that 8 to move him better on the 7, but he's going to have to cut the 7 now, I think. Oh, no, you got the 6. Take the 6, draw back, take the 7 in the lower right corner pocket. Or take it now. If you don't like that shot, then I would take the 7. I don't mind that shot, though, from the 6 there. I don't mind shooting that 7 in the lower right corner on your screen. Because the cue ball is going to be fine. You're going to get on the 1. But the benefit of taking the 7 now is that it gets you on the 1, and then the 6 gets you on the 8. Whereas getting from the 1 to the 8 is a little bit more of a chore. And Tim's going to go that route, though. Slide it over there. Perfect. Not perfect, but that's a good ball. Now the 1 to the 8. Let's get on the 1 first, right? Bring the cue ball across. Okay, here we go. Oh, don't get over a ball. There you go. You got a full cue ball at least. Edward up in the upper right corner, patiently awaiting his opportunity if it comes. He might not. Either one of these guys, we're getting this part of the match, they might not get up from their chair again. Tim or Edward. Either one of these guys can run out this match from here. I think both have probably ran, more than enough. In some point in their pool playing days, they probably ran 7, 8, or 9, maybe even 10. But I know both of these have ran 3 or 4 before. Upper left on the cue ball, right where that spot is. And looks like he has kind of a same little pocket to shoot to that Edward did when he missed the 8 ball. Although I think Tim can cut this in the side. If he has to. No, it goes. Careful with this. No, you're not going to scratch in the side. If you roll forward, you might. You're hitting with this draw, though. Good shot. Beautiful. Wow. And I root for everybody, just so you know. I root for Tim. I root for Ed. Colin Scotch doubles matches. I'm rooting for both teams. I just love good pool. Even bad pool. You got to like it, right? You don't have to love it, but still pool. So I'll finish up on these sponsors. I know we ended up over here at Dirty Horror Clothing Company. Refuge Roofing and Siding, Mr. Josh Wallstrom. Frovik Towing for all your towing and recovery needs. M&K Tire, they will come to your location, business, residence, etc., and do your tire work for you. Amadon Graphics, a long sponsor here. And Monticello Auto Service, of course, Ryan Janikowski. We'll finish those up here in a few minutes. Race to 3 now. $500 entry, race to 3. Looks like we got a little bit of light coming in. Seems like it's hitting Edward and his eyes, light from outside here. And look at that cue ball for a starting spot. Ugh. And once again, that cue ball up by that corner pocket. Last break, Edward put the cue ball in the other corner pocket, up in that area. Seems like it's been multiple times, though. Tim was up here asking if the 8 ball is neutral. It is not neutral. You can hit it first, but you can use it in any variation of a combination as long as you hit another ball first. So in this situation here, if he couldn't shoot that 8-15 combo, but he can shoot the 10 into the 8-15 combo. Good shot. Wow. That is a legal shot. That 8 ball is usable for that. In Vanilla or Valley Leagues, the 8 ball is actually neutral. You can use that to shoot into another ball or shoot into a combination. But in BCA format, you have to strike another ball first. I'll be right back 1 sec. You're coming up for a question. And Edward is claiming that Tim had pushed through that 10 ball, that he had pushed through that in an illegal fashion. But one thing on that is that if that had happened, it doesn't matter now. You have to have a referee over there to call that at a time, or if Tim and Edward had come into agreement upon it post shot, if it had occurred. But that is an example there where Edward should have had a referee come over to watch that part of the shot. He had every opportunity to, and unfortunately, that's where I think he's a little bit disheveled about right now. I can't make a ruling on that post shot. I don't. He videoed it, but that doesn't matter now. Post shot, you have to notify a referee and say, hey, can you watch this? And then I would have made a recording, or we could have used a recording post shot. But Edward didn't. As the opponent, I'm not picking on Edward on this, but if you're playing somebody and your opponent's at the table, if you don't bring up, hey, can somebody watch this, you can't afterwards kind of, implore that was a foul. Something you have to bring up before they strike the shot. It's not golf where viewers can, call in or message in and say, hey, that golf ball moved, which has happened in golf tournaments. But whether that was a foul or not, I don't believe it was a foul at all. But whether it is or not, you have to have a referee over there to look at that before the shot is struck. So that might be an area of contention for him after this, but so race to 11 here. $500 entry. BCA rules. Tim Tundrum and Edward Bregu. And once again, if you're watching catching the stream on your YouTube, on your app or browser, however you're watching on, click on the like button. That's the thumbs up. Click on the like button, and also hit the subscribe button for us. And you'll be connected with us on future streams, future events. Keep an eye on Facebook, Mr. Jerry Johnson, CR Sports Bar. Add those on Facebook as well if you haven't already. Follow them. A lot of the tournament updates, future tournaments, a lot of matches when they're going to be played will be posted, and that way you'll be able to stay in tune and stay in touch with future events. Again, the next match that needs to be played in this event is Mr. Rob Matson and Jesse Engel. That'll be the last first round match. Not sure when that's going to be played because there is a tournament up in Eveleth next weekend that a lot of players are going to. And then 2 weeks from here at CRs, we're going to have the Upper Midwest Shootout, one of my personally favorite events. 5-person team event and singles. And that's a real popular event, Upper Midwest Bar Table Shootout. That's in a couple weeks. And then not too long down the road, too, is for a lot of league players, I know it's popular here in CRs. Tim break here. A lot of these players, 6-ball. A lot of these players played the other weekend out at Canterbury Park, where they had 140, 150 tables, I think it was. But the Vania had their tournament out there, Valley, MoMA. And coming up next month will be IBA, another of the popular league formats here in the Twin Cities and in this region. They'll be having their annual tournament out there, too. And that'll be in 2 weekends. Advanced teams will be 1 weekend, and Scotch doubles, and then the following weekend will be the conclusion of those events. And then also you have Masters and Open team, and then singles will be during the middle of the second week as well. So a lot of pool coming up here. Those won't be on the streams, but just events that players will be at. IBA, again, one of the very popular league systems here. And they have one of the most accurate and consistently accurate handicap systems, where you get close matches pretty often. It often goes hill. It's set up very well. And that is winner breaks in that format too, which is another plus for all players involved instead of the alternate break. But we've got a heck of a finish coming up here. Race to 11. Tim Tundrum at 9. Edward Bregu at 8. Tim's on solids. He's going to play a safety. I think he's going to stop shot and just lock underneath the stripe down here. Yep, good shot.
All right, see that top one's 9? You have to have it through still?
Now, Edward does have a kick available to make the 10. I'm not shooting that shot. And I bet you 90-some% of the people listening are, oh, who would shoot that shot? You're not going to. He might, though. I'm not going to, but he might. If I can graze this ball and go over to the right side rail and bring the cue ball back into those. He's calling a ball, though. We'll see what he does here. I think he's going to kick bank. Nope. And that became a foul. That was kind of a splash at it. I would say, and as a commentator, I get a little leeway for this, but I would say uncharacteristic of a player of that rating to do that kind of a shot. I think there was some safeties available. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to kick at that 10 ball. I'm not going to do that. But I'm also not a 700 plus, so maybe I don't. Maybe you know something I don't. But I think I think that shot there though was a little bit of frustration about that previous table by Tim. And again, I think any frustration on that should have been on Edward's part, because if he would have called me over to take a look at that, then if there was a fall, which I don't believe there was, seen the video, then he would have had an argument for it. But you can't come up past post shot. But 9-8 and race to 11, I don't let that decide the match for me. If I'm down 9-2, an expression of anger or frustration is probably more, not necessarily acceptable, but more understandable. Not that I've ever gotten angry at a pool table. Oh boy. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Look at all these messages I'm getting right now. But again, if you're tuning in, again, thanks for tuning in, catching this matinee match. And be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube and also the like button. And keep an eye out for Jerry posting when the next match will be. And that'll be the last first-round match between Rob Matson and Jesse Engel. The winner of this match gets to play TJ Steinhaus. The winner of Rob and Jesse gets to play Zach Boss. Slow down. Cue ball got a little bit away from him on that, but He would have loved to gotten on the 7, pull over for the 3, and then take the 5 and just cozy over on that rail for the 8 ball. But now he's going to have to back cut this 7. Unless it does go in the corner. Let's see what we got here. No, it doesn't go in the corner, so just have to back cut this. I play for this 3 in the side. I don't try to play for the 3 in the corner. I hit some low left on this, go to the side, go to the end rail, which is on the side on your screen. But I come all the way down, and I'm shaping the 3 in the side or the 5 in the side. If I can get controlled with that cue ball to go around that 14, then I'll play the 3 in the corner. And it might be not be as steep of an angle as it looks on our screen too. It might be easier to get on the 3. But I don't mind zipping all the way back. If I have to hold this ball, what I'm saying, kind of hold the cue ball and it might get away from me, then I'm going to try for the 3 in the side. Because if I get on the 3 in the side, I know I'm getting on my 5 in that side. He doesn't like that shot. I don't really blame him. That 7 looks kind of a steep angle to back cut draw. Got to be careful down here, though. Oh, boy. That almost got disastrous. So now, take the 5, float the cue ball over to the left side of the table past the side pocket. Shape the 8 in the right side pocket, and you're on the hill. Yep, kind of like right in there. I'd like to be up above it a little bit so I can just slide down and get on a little bit better look in the 8. You don't have to. I mean, you could stop shot there and make the 8. I don't mind just a little bit of an angle. So I mean, if I can float down the other side of the side pocket, fine. You don't have to though. And I wouldn't try to miss. I wouldn't try to get in a specific spot and then end up missing this 5 ball. No matter how you end up over in that 7, you're likely going to find a way to get in the 8. So you don't have to be perfect. You do have to be semi-perfect on making the 5. Just don't come out too hard with that cue ball. Oh, he missed it. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Now, the work for Edward here would be to do something with the 12 ball.
I didn't think so. No, I didn't think so. But that's so they got their change. They got their change. He just left.
And I take the 9 here, slide over to the rail, come out in the middle of the table, and shape myself onto my 13. So when I shoot the 13, I go 2 rails and I bump that 12 roll. The 12, though, you have to be careful because if you bump that, we'll go to the other view here pretty quick. The 12, you have to be careful, though, because if you bump that up table, the 5 still blocks that pocket up there. So you don't really have a pocket up there. You can't bump this gently. And that's a good spot, too. Where I was saying take the 9, get this kind of an angle on the 13. He's going to come in this pretty hard. That 12 is going to go to the left side of the table, I believe. He'll come off the rail and then bump it. Not sure if he liked it. He wasn't comfortable with it, though. It might have been something in the background, too. I got him ruffled. I don't really like this combo here, the 11-9. And I really don't like shooting that. I don't like shooting that 13 much either. I don't blame him for not taking that 13 there. I like the cue ball a little bit closer. I don't want to end up banking that 12 though, but I bank okay. But for this kind of a tournament. The thing I wouldn't do, though, is if I shoot this 9 ball, I am not taking that 11 ball next. I'm doing something with that 12. Because let's say you come down here in the 13 and you try to bump that 12 out of there, you might have to shoot that 11. You might have to take that 11 ball from that area where that 12 ball is. He's taking the 11 though. If he takes the 11 now, I'm almost certain that he's going to end up banking that 12 ball. Now the cue ball is closer. He was up about, what, maybe a foot? About a diamond's length. He was up about a diamond from where it was the previous look at this angle. Now, if you come off that rail and you hit into this 12, the cue ball will go up table. You're probably going to end up taking the 11 in the upper left corner on your screen. It's a good possibility. It's all speed on this. You don't want to just slam it. Something like right there. Oh, see, it didn't bump it enough. Didn't come into it square enough. You can't fault him on that. That's kind of a dicey little shot right there. But I think he hit it that way because he hit it so soft. And that's the value too of leaving some of those balls up there. If he would have done this on his previous look, he would have other options right now. And then he could come back for this ball. That ball right there is an easier cross-side bank than it was. But everything's always better in hindsight, right? He had the same look at that shot. You know, I mentioned that he was about a diamond up the table further previously, and slow roll safety. Going to try and tuck it behind the 12. He's got to tuck it behind the 12 and hide from the 5 and the 7. Oh, he's going to cut it. Nope. But he should block the pocket up there, though. That might have been his play to begin with. Now, Tim could do a safety here where he shoots the 7 straight over to the right on your view, and then run the cue ball up to the upper end rail and just lay it up in the upper end rails, because all Edward would have would be a combo that doesn't have a pocket, and it would be all about speed. The thing you wouldn't want to do is end up bumping the 12 or the 11, but I think that's the safety that he has available. Just you thin the 7. I don't think the 7 even really is going to hit the rail. You don't have to play it to hit the rail. If you just thin the outside of the 7, the left side of the 7 ball, the cue ball will deflect up to the upper end rail. In fact, you could play that to where you go up to that rail and come and snug right on that 11. This shot does come up in that game of 1 pocket often, where you're kind of grazing a ball and just kind of hiding it up an area, and if you tuck up on a ball, great. If not, they don't really have a shot. This is one of those shots. I thin the left side of the 7 on your view and just float the cue ball up to the upper end rail, just like that. That'll work. Now, Edward has a bank on the 11 to the lower left corner, where he could draw the cue ball over to the left side of the table. You see where this left side pocket is? He could draw the cue ball over and set it on that 3rd diamond in that area. It'd leave a tough cut on that 7 for Tim in that pocket. The pocket's there, but it's also a way that Edward could win the game. I don't really like it. In fact, let's see here. Let's see on this view. Does the 11 even... If the 11 goes on the side... if 11 goes, he could just cut it in the side. It's just what he's going to end up with a shot next. If he had a little bit of an angle, he could get to the right side of the 12 and take it in the corner, but... Another shot he could do is he could shoot the 12-7 combo in the side and draw the cue ball back and just put the 11 in between the cue ball and the 5 ball. I don't think that's a really easy combo, but that is an option. On this screen right here, on this view, it looks pretty easy. On this view over here, that combo doesn't look as easy. This view, not too bad. This view, I don't want to shoot that combo. But on this view, I'd shoot that combo. I just don't think if he makes this at 11 that he's going to like his shot. And I don't think he can hit it firm enough to where he can run the cue ball in and then bump the 12 or bump the 7. But he may prove me wrong, which has happened before. 20-some years ago it happened. I remember the day very well when I was wrong. Traumatic day for me. Another shot he could do, which is not, yeah, that ain't going to work. I was going to say draw off the 11 and hide behind the 5 ball, but then you're just going to get tucked back behind there on that 5 ball. If he can make that combo, he can hide this cue ball pretty easy. If he makes the 11 again, I don't think he's going to get a shot on the 12. The cue ball will be really close to it, but what's he doing here now? He could really put on his Superman cape and 3-rail the 11, but I don't think that goes by. I think it does go by the 12 in that upper on your screen now, and it'd be the upper left corner, upper left pocket. I think that does 3-rail. It'd hit right before the side and then go around 3 rails, but you don't shoot that shot. I would try the 1-rail before I do the 3-rail. 1-rail in the lower right corner on your screen. But I might be prone to shoot this combo right here, the 12-7, and draw back and just put the cue ball in between me and the 5 ball. And say, have at it. He might. On this view here, it doesn't look like he can actually make that. Yeah, Brandon Johnson. That's right. Murphy's Law. That's what it was. Not Pavlov's. I feel your pain, Edward. I don't know either. I might have lost myself. Because on this view, that doesn't look like that combo. But on this view, it does. And judging by the look on Edward's face right there, putting his head in his hand, it doesn't look good from that view either. From his view. He tried my shot. He tried my shot. He tried. Yeah, he tried to corner bank that and then get a look on the 12 ball. And I think he ended up. Pretty fortunate. So he got 5 ball. Can thin the 5 and try to come up with a safe. Ooh boy. I don't think he can bank the 5. I think he can cut the 7. Thin the 5. It looks like he's going to try to bank it, actually. Nope, he hit the stripe first. Yeah, hit the stripe first. That's a foul. Man. I don't know. I think he thought he could bank that ball. I think he was trying to cross bank that ball. It's the only thing that I think any of us would agree on to hit it that firm or that hard would be to bank it. You're not going to play a safety that way. I think he could have actually hit the thin part of it, went around 1, 2, 3, 4 rails and tried to put the cue ball down here by the 8 ball. Maybe even gotten behind the 8 ball. There was a path for it to go 1, 2, 3, 4 rails. 5 rails it would have been. So 9-9, Race to 11. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. This has turned into one heck of a match, as predicted by a lot in the community. So a couple more sponsors here to go through. Mike Van Gernsom Group, Remax Prodigy, another sponsor of the upcoming Break for Vets, and Fire, Water, Storm Protection, Bauer Services for all your construction restoration needs. And we started out with O'Keefe's Auto Body and Paint, Keefe's Collision, Mr. Dave O'Keefe, the action man, Dave O'Keefe. And last but not least, Fast Action Pool Table Service, Mr. Rob Matson. And, of course, they're front and center in the screen, Amadon Graphics, another sponsor of ours. I mentioned you previously, but you guys have done a few tournaments on your own as well. And everybody on that screen, though, thank you for everything, as always, for your sponsorship and for contributing to the tournaments and for everything you do for the community here. We all appreciate it. And then, again, the four that actually contributed sponsoring this specific event are Primo Roofing, Siding, Windows, Gutters, and Painting, D-Hand Garage Doors, Monticello Auto Service, and Frobix Towing and Recovery. So after start at 1 p.m., race to 11, we're at 9 to 9. Mark Weaver in the booth. CR Sports Bar, Coon Rapids, Minnesota, the mecca of pool in the upper Midwest. It's where the pros play. Multitude of events coming up. I know there was a Scotch doubles event yesterday, an upper tier and a lower tier on that. And when I went by the lot, it was just packed. Of course, I think you had the bingo heads coming in about 2 o'clock as well. So you had the Dauber City crew coming in. But this place was just packed, as always. Jerry runs one heck of a ship here. And whether you're here for bingo, for drinks, for E-tabs, pull tabs, or just to hang out, etc., or playing some pool, he's got it figured out. It's a great venue. If you have not been here and you're in the Twin Cities, swing by and stop in sometime. The food is top-notch. You got Carboni's Pizza. And you'll see some of the region's top players in here regularly, whether in weekly tournaments or in events like this. If you are from out of state and you're coming into town for business, take a few hours and come over here, grab something to eat, and say, hey, I caught you guys in the stream and I want to come check the place out. And I'm in town for business, but come by and say hi. It's in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Contrary to what somebody posted on the popular M&M Pool Player site, it is not Minneapolis, but it does fall under the Minneapolis umbrella of, if you put Minneapolis on a mailing address, yes, it'll get here. But there's like 20-some suburbs that works for. There's probably more than that even. But specifically, this is in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Not Anoka, as another person had mentioned. But it's about 5-10 minutes away from Anoka, so pretty close there. If you guys were dart players, you'd be getting some points. But as far as on directional stuff, be grateful we have a GPS. But Coon Rapids, Minnesota, CR Sports Bar. Race to 11, $500 entry. Single elimination, 8-person tournament. $4,000 for first place, $2,000 for second. This is our third first-round match. 2 were played last Friday night. I'm sorry, 2 were played Friday night, and then we got this one here today at 1 o'clock. 1 more to go between Rob Matson and Jesse Engel. Edward Brago at the table. Look at that cue ball. Oh, that 2-ball came and bounced around, but man, look at that cue ball. That cue ball planted. Unfortunately, dry break. That cue ball planted right where you want it to be. Solids look really, really good. Stripes aren't bad either. It's just that first initial shot does not look appealing. I actually almost like stripes better. That 14 doesn't scare me if I was stripes. It's easy to get to. But solids is kind of a walk in the park too. Oh, cue ball got up a little bit high on that one for him. A little bit high. You want a little bit less of an angle. Now you got to be careful. If you go into that one ball, you might make that ball. If you bump that one ball, you might make the ball. Or you might go into the rail and come underneath it and bump it from the wrong direction too. A lot of inside spin on this. Should be right English I'd put on this. There you go. And this is not a. This isn't really ideal either. However, here's a great path for this cue ball. Run that cue ball right at that 14 ball gently. Oh, he's going to shoot the 2. I don't blame him for shooting this 2. If you shoot that 2, you're going to run the cue ball on the 14. That'll clear. And then you're on the 6 or the 5. I like this better than the 1. If I was going to shoot that 1, I'm going right between that 215, aiming right at that 14, but then I'd probably mess up my 6 ball. 2 cue ball into the 14. Perfect. Nicely controlled. Spoke about that before, that you control those balls. You don't want to fly them around willy-nilly. Control them. Now the 5 ball, he can get to that 1 by going between those stripes over to the upper left side rail and come out in the middle of the table and get on the 1. With some follow, he can squirt right between that 12 and the 15. I like getting the 6 and getting an angle on the 5 so I don't have to come back for that 6. So I agree with this 100%. And you might get a better angle on the 5 so you don't have to go between those stripes. Just like that. Now if you follow through on this one, be careful of the scratch in the side. Cue ball grazing the 8. I don't think he'll graze the 8, but if you touch this 8, you could find the side pocket. It'll go past the 8 though, won't it? Yeah. Man. See, if he would have just caught that 8 at all, that ball was in the scratch. Had a really good chance. He had a good chance of scratching right there even. But put some center low right and just kind of punch it in the rail. Straight in, lower right corner pocket, and this will put Tim on the hill upon making this. Look at that. Look at his stance, what he has. That's like ideal. Another 2 railer. Wow. Big pockets though. When you hit it at that pace, the diamond, the pro cuts and the tighter pockets are bigger. They'll play a little bit bigger for you if you hit it at the slower pace. You don't have to slam the ball into the hole. Sometimes you have to do to get a cue ball around. Yeah, I get it. But if you pocket speed or hit it with that kind of a pace and just kind of have more touch, I should say, you're not gonna scratch. I mean it's going to go. I'm sorry, it's going to go in more often than rattle. If you jam that ball, try to hit it hard, you're going to catch a point and it'll rattle more often. That's why a lot of times you see people playing like, how'd that ball go in? It's because he hit it at a slower speed. Slower speed, those points like to push the ball in, almost like a pinball machine, like the bumpers. You start hitting that harder, and it don't want to play with you. So Tim's on the hill, 10-9, race to 11. Let's see where he plants the cue ball. He's been putting that cue ball up in the upper left corner pocket in that area up there. It's been ending up there. Let's see where this one ends. A key break. Kind of in that area, but man, if you're playing $500 entry and you're on the hill, this is a table to have. The 6 isn't a concern, but here's what I do here. I shoot the 7 in the side, and I roll the cue ball gently into the 6 and just open that up more. Because I think if I gently roll into the 6 right now, that opens it up for both sides pocket. You don't have to do that. You can get that 6 is easy. Don't get me wrong, But I don't mind that 7 right now and just running the cue ball square into that 6 and just opening the 6 just a little bit more so that 6 can go in either side pocket. I think it just makes the run out easier. It gives me a lot more flexibility. And you don't have to do that though. Look how that pocket goes on the other side. The 6 has plenty of room over there, and it goes in the corner too. You don't have to do that. That's the way I kind of go at it though. I kind of like the idea of that 6 just having another pocket for me. Or what I do right now, if I'm Tim, I shoot the 7 and I slide over and I shape the 6 on the side right now because he's got an angle on the 7 to get perfect on the 6. Or you can just do that. A little bit more, that'll work. See the view there. Now in this view here, if he draws this too much, he's not going to take the 6 now. Well, that's better. I think that's a little bit better angle. That's why he shot that instead of taking it initially. Initially, though, my first shot, I take that 7 and I bump into that 6. The reason for that, see how that 6 will go on, then the 6 will go on the other side. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. And I need all the help I can get when I'm playing. Uh-oh, caught the point. Missed it. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Wow. Now, if he takes the 7 initially and bumps that 6, it just opens up a little bit more, or gets on it better. He had a couple times when he was trying to get on it better, or just not miss it. But that right there affirms what I would have done. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm wrong as often as I'm right. If not, some will say even more. But that opening shot, I shoot that 7 in the side, and I either run into the 6 or I use that 7 to get me straight on in the 6. The 7 gave him a great angle to get on that 6. I don't know why he didn't even look at that. Not necessarily to run into it, but to shoot it first. And it might be pretty costly, that mistake, missing that ball. I'd still put anything I've got and my kidney even, on one of my kidneys on him making that 6 every single time. But to make it easier for yourself, I think shooting that 7 first would have. I think if he'd shot that 7 first, I think right now they would have shook hands by now. Edward might have been shaking his head in disappointment, but I think Tim would have ran this rack out by now. And now he faces a possibility that he might not get back to the table for the rest of the match. Because Edward has pretty good layout, except for the 8. He's going to try to fix the 8 in the first couple of shots here. No, he's going to shape the 8. I don't really blame him for shaping it. The 8 has pockets, especially that side. Look at that side off that 6 ball. That's like I think Stevie Wonder makes that ball on the side. That thing. Look at that 6 ball. That's a huge pocket over there. So he's going to shape to get on the 11, and the 11 may go off the 6 too, but I think he's going to shape so he can shoot the 11 and then run the cue ball into the 2, and then be pretty straight into the 8 in the side anyways. Yeah, he's eyeing it up to taking the side, and then I think if you get the right angle on that ball, you can just roll forward and just bump into the 2 ball and then have a little easy cut shot on the 8 ball. See how he ends up here. Yeah, the thing with thing with that too, he's going to have to get kind of in a specific spot. If he gets in an angle where he doesn't like it, he might not get back to that ball, to the 8 ball. I don't mind even shooting the 11 now and drawing into the 8, and because the 8 will go into the 3, upper part of the 3, over to the right side rail and come back out to the middle of the table. And that 12 is pretty makeable from anywhere on the table. I don't know. I kind of think I might do that. If you don't get where you really, really like it off this ball, it's going to make it extremely, especially like right over there. Is he going to bank this now off the 4? I'm surprised he didn't roll forward and get on your screen now, on the other side of the 11, on the bottom side of the 11 on your screen. I'm incredibly surprised he didn't try that. Because if you got over like where that second diamond is on your view, you cut the 11 and then the side off the 6, and then you roll both cue ball into the 2, and you're straight into the 8 in the side. And now he's gonna. Now he's got quite a challenge in front of him. If he can bank that, if it banks and goes off the 4, it'll open up the pocket. But I think that 4 is too tight into the pocket there. We're all going to learn something here because I'm not sure how he's going to get on this 8 ball. Unless he can bank that 11 off the 4. But there's no guarantee if you bank that 11 off the 4 that the 4 doesn't double kiss kind of and just kind of hang around there and wreck the prom for him. Well, here we go. Looks like he's loading up with a bunch of inside, which I'm not sure if that's going to be beneficial either. Yeah, the inside won't help him. I think the 8. I think if he gets a look on that 8, he can take the 8 off the point where that 4 is, and it'll go in that pocket. I don't want to shoot it there. I would have shot that 11 on the side and then got on the 8 in the side myself. I don't want to shoot that 8 off that point, off that 4. That's pretty precise, but I believe it does go by there. It'll double kiss or whatever it does, and probably kiss 3-4 times and go off there. But it does go in that pocket. I don't think he can get there to where he wants to shoot that ball, though, from the angle that he has on the 11 now. He could have got a better angle just rolling forward on the 12, got to the side rail, and then took the 11 on the side, on the opposite side. He's going to bank it. Nope. Yeah, he's going to bank it. Nope. And say that 4 looked like it was pretty deep in the hole. He lost that game though. If he ends up losing this game, he lost that game by shooting the 12 ball the way he did. I think let's take a look at this view here. Look at that whole left side of the table over here. See where the spot is? A whole left side. Anywhere over there. You got a 2 diamond window. Anywhere over there off that 12, and you're on that 11, and then you have the side pocket available. And then not knocking on Edward. I mean, he's obviously has a high Fargo rate and makes a lot of great decisions. But I don't know, and I would love to understand the thought process behind trying to get over there when he could have just rolled forward off the 12 and just shot the 11. Even if you don't want to take the 8 in the side, you could have shot the 11 in the side, slid down under the 2, and took the 8 in the corner. Confusing. 3 into the 4. Watch a scratch. Oh, that 3 could have ended up in a better spot. But so what I'll do from here is I'm going to shoot that 7. I'm going to roll forward, and I'm going to get on the 6. I'm going to take the 6 and float down that rail. float down the rail and take the 3 in the lower left corner, and then take the 2 in the side of the corner, and then 8. So I shoot the 7 next. Yep, shoot that one. Roll down to the rail. You don't even have to make that ball. You can play a safety on that 7. You can get out here, but, this is a situation where you don't really have to. You don't have to shoot to get out here. You could play it safe, and Edwards in a really tough spot if you play a safety on this. Looks like I don't want to shoot that 2. I don't want to shoot that 2 by that 3. I'm going to play it safe. No, I'll do my 7, 6, 3, 2 out. That's what I would do. I don't really like shooting this 2. But I'm not Tim Tuncham either, so I'm not these guys. I'm a tadpole in a frog pond, so I don't shoot this ball. Because of that reason right there. I don't think I can get on that 3 how I want to. And if I'm going to play a safety, I would rather have that 2 down there as well, because the 2 and the 3 gives me 2 balls that make it tougher for him to kick to, and also it gives me 2 balls so that when I start shooting balls and running out, ooh, careful. Now this 11 cross, he's going to kick it. He's going to kick towards that 6. This is why I would have left that 2 there. It would take away. It would make the kick a lot tougher. But I also wouldn't have put the 7 down in that corner. I'm not saying what my way is the only right way, but I wouldn't have shot that 2 either. I would have left that 2. I almost like, if I'm Edward here, I'm going to cross bank that 11. I'm not going to kick at this. I'm going to cross bank that ball. No, I'm not. I'm going to kick. After looking at this view, I'm kicking. But check out this view now in the upper overhead. I'm cross banking. Yep, he's going to cross bank. Maybe I said that too loud. Yeah, I'm cross. If I can get that, if I can hit that 11 where he's going to kick that ball. If I can hit that 11 at the point where I need to cross bank it though, which is right where the colored part is, I'm going to shoot that. Because I think I can make that cross bank. This is a very, very low percentage shot. How'd he hit it? Oh my God. Wow. Wow. That ball rattled on him. Oh my God. And Tim is a... is he going to cross bank this? Or is he going to make the 7 into the 11 and put the cue ball up table and try to play safe? How about this? How about banking? If you're going to play safe defensively here, how about you bank the 3 into the 11 and put the cue ball on the second diamond on the right side rail, up just a little bit between the second and third diamond. Then Edward has 0 pocket. If I'm going to shoot the 7, and is he banking this? Yep. That's a good cue ball there. I was going to say, if I'm going to try to make that there, I'm going to go out to the right side roll and go the direction that he did with the cue ball. But I'm going to try to get the cue ball more to the left even. And I think Tim was trying to do that. He almost made that 7 in there too. Because if I could have got, if I'm Tim and I got that cue ball another diamond to the left, I feel maybe a little bit better, but then that also opens up the cross bank more. Wait a minute, that goes. By this view here, that 8 ball goes. Yeah, that looks like it goes there. On this view here, it looks awful tight, but that ball goes. Yeah, there's room there. I don't want to shoot this ball for fun. Edward Brigu at the table, down 9-10, race to 11, $500 entry, single elimination. CR Sports Bar in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, the mecca of pool in the upper Midwest. All kinds of events coming up here. Keep an eye out on Facebook and on the stream channel on YouTube. Click the like button and also click subscribe. We appreciate all of your support as always. And thank you for all the comments as well on the stream. Bank Karam off the 6th ball. That is not a bad idea. Yeah, I can't believe that 7 didn't fall either, Sean. That 7 ball is deep in the shelf too. That ball is sitting deep in the shelf. If you don't make this, it's barring a miscue or something catastrophic. It's almost certain Tim should be able to finish this match up from however these balls end up. Yep. Three balls and you're on the 8. See how he did that there too? It's pretty elementary what you're doing, but he took the time to walk around, took a peek at the 3, just made sure, okay, I want to be here. Okay, now I'm over here. You know, part of what this is doing here is getting your heart rate down. You're getting your breathing under control. I feel that a lot of times it's a great time in this situation to also become less of a mouth breather and breathe through the nose. It brings a lot more focus. And that little extra time of being able to walk around the table there and taking a couple of different looks at the views gives you a chance to breathe through the nose, and it brings your heart rate down. Everything just kind of gets more calm. In a perfect situation. But that's how I do those things. And it's always good to take a look around and just take a peek. You know, you're not in a hurry. You don't get extra points for going fast. But just take a peek sometimes and just reassure yourself, okay, I can be here. I just got to be over in this area here. I'm going to be good. So this will put Tim on the 8 ball. Hit that ball good. That should complete our match for the day. 11-9. Tim Tunjum, barring a miscue or anything. That's it. 11-9. Tim Tunjum victorious over Edward Bregu. Very close match, well fought by both, and man, that was worth tuning in. If you guys put your afternoons on hold and check this out, we thank you, and you should thank yourself because you witnessed a really good match. Next match will be Rob Madsen and Jesse Engel. Keep an eye on Facebook and on the stream, and on Facebook, and keep an eye out for Jerry Johnson or CRs for posting on it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and thank you as always for tuning in. Everybody out there on the stream, we appreciate it. I've got a large number on the stream right now. Thank you for tuning in. CR Sports Bar, Coon Rapids. This is Mark Weaver in the stream. Thank you, Jerry Johnson, as well, for putting on this tournament. And up here in Minnesota, it's like 45 degrees out. Everybody hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the X button, and get your butts outside and enjoy this weather. We'll see you soon. Take care and be safe out there.